Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Kristy Jansen.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help make it one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy podcast. Today is Wednesday, the 7th of July, 2021. Hello, Kristy. How are you?
Hello, Summers. I'm just fine.
Amelia challenged you to do the entire episode in a British accent.
Fake British accent, which I don't think I can pull off, so I just said hello.
You kind of have like a little Eliza Doolittle happening there. It's pretty good.
I don't know what it is, but it's not authentic in any means.
No.
How are you, Summers?
I'm good. Our holiday weekend, so as everybody knows, Kristy and I took a smidge of a break, and then we had like an extra break because on Tuesday we put out our interview. So I feel like it's been a decade since I talked to you.
I know. I was having Summers withdrawals.
It's been a long go. I will say that I loved spending time with my family this weekend and being out for a good chunk of time. I missed work. And coming back into my office, when I sat down to work today, I discovered that my daughter had figured out how to unpair my mouse from my computer, and it was, somewhere over with some toys.
Did she like swallow the little dongle thing?
No, but she pressed the buttons enough that it like was no longer paired, and then the kittens had eaten my headphones. So I had to scramble to find new headphones to plug in, and of course I have like an old set to plug into the podcast mic. And so it was definitely some, fits and starts getting started for our tech meetings this morning and all the different things that I was not delighted and prepared when I began work today. It was all thumbs, but I'm into it and I'm, ready for a good week. I think we're all July is going to be kind of a different month around here at the Optimist Daily because we're taking some breaks and people are traveling and everybody is taking a little bit of a breather, which I think is valuable. What was it? Amelia had said that she had seen a meme that said, basically like the differences between out of office vacation reminders and Europeans out of office reminders, like I'll be on vacation until mid-September. Look forward to talking to you then. And then the American one is like, I'm having my kidney removed, but feel free to message me. I'll answer right after the surgery.
I know. Why do we work so hard? And it's a very peculiar. It is a peculiar question.
I think it's this sense of productivity and relevance, right? That the more productive we are, the more relevant. And there's kind of this sense of feeling like we have to earn our keep at all times. I know that I joked with, I think the team, but having the 5th of July off as a holiday, I was like, it is going to be one day that I do not feel guilty about not having childcare. And we have this sense that if we're not working, I don't know, like that our merit and our self-worth is greatly declined. So we gotta shake that off, Kristy.
It is. And it's a cultural idea that I think we need to interrogate a little bit more for ourselves and for our entire society. I'm right now reading this book by James Sussman called Work. He's a social anthropologist, really interesting, brilliant guy. It's a deep history from the Stone Age to the age of robots about what does it mean to work. And he is an anthropologist that studied some Bushmen in the Kalahari, where the idea of working incessantly is just they can't get their minds around it, or at least they couldn't when he was working with them in the 90s.
Right. That constant need to be working.
The constant need, and part of it rests in the way that we're oriented towards the world is that there's this general idea that things are scarce and there's a resource scarcity. So we always have to keep going, getting more and have this acquisitiveness which is very foreign to hunter and gatherer societies, where there's this sort of basic understanding that there's plenty. So you only need to accumulate what you need for that day or the near future. It sort of flips that idea of what kind of world we live in.
Right. Well, exactly. Operating from abundance as opposed to
scarcity.
Yeah, scarcity.
So it's just an interesting thing to think about. And I know that our listeners are probably
everyone's like, all right, get to the news, ladies.
Yeah, what's on the
Okay, but speaking of, I'm gonna have an artful transition here. Speaking of abundance, the story that I picked actually has a business looking at it from abundant resources all around them. So the story that I picked this morning reads, "These Minnesota solar farms go beyond green energy production." Look at that. I'm very excited. Instead of bare earth or gravel beneath these panels, at a solar farm in Minnesota, Enel Green Power, you can find pollinator-friendly plants and grazing sheep. Now, I love this idea. Because we've all driven past the huge solar farms that are just like barren wastelands of tons of solar panels. And you're like, but can't more be done with it? And can't solar be integrated into our daily lives and the other things that we do? Well, yes, in fact, it can. So recognizing the importance of protecting pollinators, Minnesota had set a standard for pollinator-friendly vegetation at all solar sites. They passed legislation in 2016 designating exactly what qualifies as pollinator-friendly plants, so there would be no greenwashing. And the Enel Green Power organization has gone ahead and gone for it. Their site features pollinator-friendly grasses, sedges, and wildflowers for bees, butterflies, and other insects to seek refuge in. There is a woman named Laura Lukens, the monitoring coordinator for the Monarch joint venture, and has been tracking the efficacy, reports that the monarch breeding at every single solar site she visits has been found. And it's not just insects that are benefiting from the plants. It also helps cool the earth underneath, improving solar output by cooling these panels, rejuvenating the soil on site. The sheep are naturally turning over the earth to clear out dead foliage, creating natural circularity. It's basically like a win-win for everyone. I was super excited to find out that the next project for this organization is actually in Texas. So I really love this one. Makes me happy. Yay. Good work, Enel Green Power. And all the bees and birds and bugs.
Yeah. And by the way, Enel is one of the largest renewable solar. They have a lot of projects around the country, around the world. Yeah. So they're a pretty big player, and that they're trying this out in Minnesota and now Texas is great. It kind of creates a solar farm, which is a regenerative farm in its own way.
Yeah.
It's capitalizing on the solar resources and also the pollinator-friendly grasses, which also improves soil. You get the herbivores in there that turn up and churn, and their droppings also help to fertilize those grasses. It's a beautiful symbiotic relationship between all these different species and technologies. I love it.
I think it's exciting, and as we look ahead to what we plan to do on our property here, just that integration of solar into daily life and having it, really just recognizing that our homes and our environments can be energy generating and can be beautiful and really can become circular systems is just really exciting. Yeah. So,
well, talking about abundance.
Yes.
My story is also about something that's quite
some
abundant.
Extra stuff.
My headline reads, New York City Department of Sanitation adds all electric vehicles to its fleet. And so here we're talking about trash, but we're not really talking about trash because what we're talking about is the fleet vehicles that run the New York City Department of Sanitation, or the DSNY, which is one of the largest sanitation departments in the country. It has a fleet of over 6,000 vehicles. Oh, in fact, I think it's the largest sanitation department in the world. Sorry, I misspoke. It's not just in the country. But they, in September 2020, they acquired their first all-electric garbage truck as a sort of a test, a pilot that was tested in Brooklyn. And after it was successful, it proved successful, they have now announced plans to purchase and deploy 7 more all-electric models from Mack Trucks, which is a part of the Volvo group. And they'll be deploying them across all 7 districts of the city. It's still in a pilot program, but I think this is a wonderful sign towards a movement to electrifying our fleet vehicles. And garbage trucks are definitely one of those loud, dirty things that we appreciate them because they haul away our trash, but they are noisy and they are dirty and it's great that these trucks are zero emissions. They're also healthier for the sanitation workers themselves because they don't have the dirty
emissions,
off gases, and they're much quieter. So this is just a small proportion of the fleet. It's a good sign, but I want to promote it and support it as much as possible in New York and in other places around the country. And the fleet vehicles are one of the, I think, areas that have the biggest potential to drop emissions in cities because they have regular schedules. So you can electrify them pretty easily, and then you charge them up at night. They have, regular routes. You can just plan around the need to charge them. So anyway, I just think this is a great article. Thank you, New York, for leading the way here. I'd love to see this rolled out across many different cities around the country and around the world. And,
one of our favorite TV shows around here is Trash Truck. It's this darling animated series created by a animator and a producer who observed his son's love of the trash trucks, and kids all over the
they do. I have
trash trucks, right?
My friends have a little 3-year-old girl, and she just, when she hears the truck, she's like, "Mommy, the trash is here!"
Exactly, trash day is so exciting, and I just love the idea of taking this incredibly exciting thing and electrifying the fleet, but also really, like we've talked about this before, really honoring our waste collection and distribution people and recognizing that this is a extremely important job and an extremely important industry that we can evolve. So I like that they're not just electrifying the trucks, but you and I were joking a little bit earlier about getting rid of all of our plastic and did we recycle it, and kind of made a joke that, well, we tossed it in the recycling bin, but who knows? And I think that an opportunity to look at this industry and to say, all right, how can we make this industry better is a really, really great one. So I love it. Love Trash Truck. And, every time we hear the word trash truck, my daughter goes honk, honk, because that's the sound that trash truck makes. So I cannot hear the word trash truck without thinking honk, honk.
Okay.
What else do we have on the Optimist Daily today, my dear?
Well, there's an article about summer travel, some tips on things to keep in mind. This is going back into the world for many of us for the first time. I know from my first travel experience coming out to visit you, Summers, it's no easy task. And it's something that we are not all prepared for. And whether you're driving in a car or flying on airplanes, it's great to do a little self-care on the way. MIT engineers invent human-like e-skin that can help monitor vitals. Don't underestimate this small but mighty fruit. This is an article about kiwi, and we offer 7 reasons to eat more of it. 3 ways that businesses can meet their emission reduction pledges and make it more than just a statement, but rather deploy strategies to really reduce emissions. Why great sex should be part of your skincare routine. Summers is something that you and I have talked about in our own lives at different times. So this is a great article.
Yep.
What else?
Yes. Let's see. How to safely dispose of fireworks.
Yes.
All right. Yep. We certainly had a lot of those around here. Brooklyn Museum returns 1,305 looted artifacts back to Costa Rica. And a Buddhist monk provides new life to thousands of stray dogs in Shanghai. That and much, much more is available, as always, on theoptimistdaily.com. If you are an emissary, you can search over 18,000 historical articles and solutions that will help you find a path to good. Thank you all for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us. Consider becoming an emissary. You know the drill. $5 a month. Support reader-funded independent journalism and help us keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it. supported by those who can. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you tomorrow.